Here are some of the details of today's video. In a moment, a panel of teenagers will be discussing the growing problem of delinquency amongst clergymen. Then Prince Andrew will be talking to us about how he's been a lifelong sufferer of foot in the mouth disease.
Best make sure them teenagers are left first though. Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, for those of you who are more easily pleased, here is 20 minutes of glittering codswallop. Welcome to the Retro Roundup. Welcome, ladles and jelly spoons, to Kohigh Mathy's YouTube channel, a retro gaming channel with a very British twist. Brought to you live by videotape from the Orbital Broadcast Bunker, Britain's first and only airborne subterranean studio. In case you missed last month's Retro Roundup, here is the story so far. Inspector Dicky, he of the beetling brow and spidery legs, leant against the mantelpiece in the library at Mallory Grange and surveyed his company. His eyes darted around the room and then rolled under the ottoman, played by Tiger Tom and the Ashmack. Who was the murderer? Was it the butler, bow-legged, balding, fantastic Mr. Connor? Or perhaps the lovely Nubian belly dancer, Engage? Suddenly, the lights went out, and he heard a sound, the like of which no man has heard and lived. In an awful croak, the words rasped out, "This is the end." That was Mr. B, who appears by kind permission of the masked band of the Brigade of Guards and Nappy Service. Now, we raise a toast and wish merriment to the games reaching the big 3-0. Turning 30 this month, we have James Pond 2, Codename RoboCod, also known as Super James Pond on the SNES in North America and Game Boy, and Super James Pond 2 in Europe. A platform video game originally released for the Amiga, Atari ST and Sega Genesis/Mega Drive. It was developed by the same British team as the original. The title music is by Richard Joseph and is a marimba-heavy rendition of the RoboCop film theme. Super Tennis, a tennis video game for the Super Nintendo. It released early in the Super Nintendo's life and uses Mode 7. The game itself features 3 different modes: Doubles Mode, World Circuit Mode and Singles Mode, in which players compete against a human or chosen computer opponent. In Doubles Mode, the player and a human teammate can face the CPU.
The SNES version of Super Tennis appears in book 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Die by our good chum Tony Mott. Well, I'll say good chum, we've never actually met.
Turning 25 this month, we have Olympic Summer Games, the 16-bit official video game of the 1996 Olympic Games held in Atlanta. It's a typical button masher that includes 10 events: the 100-metre sprint, 110-metre hurdles, pole vault, long jump, triple jump, javelin, high jump, discus, skeet and archery, with 32 countries from around the world competing custom or full Olympics or just to practice. It should be noted that this game did also come out on the PC and the PlayStation, but I think it's worth remembering that even 25 years ago, games were still being released for the old school 4th generation of consoles. Bugs Bunny in Double Trouble, a game based on the Looney Tunes cartoon movie of the same name. Bugs Bunny falls asleep and in his dreams sees Yosemite Sam developing a robot called Gossamer. The robot disobeys the commands of his master and goes out of control. Now Bugs Bunny has to enter the TV world and correct things, bringing order back to the lives of the Looney Tune inhabitants. The game consists of several platform-based stages, each one having a different goal: guiding another character to a safe place, defeating a big monster, etc. Bugs Bunny can jump, run quickly, as well as collect items and throw them at enemies. years ago this August, we also saw the second annual Dreamcast Championships to see who was the best at Crazy Taxi, and the winner was 19-year-old Lindsay Gale, who unfortunately I couldn't find a picture of. But stepping out of their teens and hitting their 20s, we have Sega Bass Fishing 2 is a video game developed by WoW Entertainment and published by Sega for the Dreamcast. It is a sequel to Sega Bass Fishing. Like the previous game in the series, this simulation game allows the player to fish for bass in various lakes. At the start of the game, the player can pick one of a selection of characters, each character having his or her own stats, such as casting distance. This makes all of them unique. Each character's appearance can also be altered by the player as well.
Now, this game is meant to be played with a very special controller that looks like a fishing rod.
Shogun Total War Mongol Invasion. This is an expansion pack to Shogun Total War and incorporates the 1.12 patch. You get a chance to wage war based on the events of the Kamakura period of 13th century Japan. You either defend the country as a daimyo against the barbarians at the gate, or lead Kublai Khan's Mongol hordes as they ravaged the Japanese landscape. Playing as the invaders, you are not able to construct new buildings or train new units. Instead, you have to impress Kublai Khan by capturing territory to earn reinforcements. Along with the new campaign, the expansion pack includes new units, new buildings, and 3 additional scenarios, and extends multiplayer options.
Lastly, marking their 10th anniversary, are these gems. Now, interestingly enough, both of these games didn't have physical releases and somewhat marked the birth of the digital-only game.
Bastion, an action role-playing video game developed by independent developer Supergiant Games and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. In the game, the player controls the Kid as he moves through a floating fantasy-themed environment and fights enemies of various types. It features a dynamic voiceover from a narrator, Logan Cunningham, and is presented as a 2-dimensional game with an isometric camera and hand-painted colourful art style. Bastion's story follows the Kid as he collects special shards of rock to power a structure, the Bastion, in the wake of an apocalyptic calamity.
That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella.
Limbo, a puzzle platform video game developed by independent studio Play Dead. The game was released on Xbox Live Arcade but has since been ported to several other systems. Limbo is a 2D side-scroller incorporating a physics system that governs environmental objects and the player character. The player guides an unnamed boy through dangerous environments and traps as he searches for his sister. The developer built the game's puzzles expecting the player to fail before finding the correct solution. Playdead called the style of play Trial and Death and uses gruesome imagery of the boy's death to steer the player away from unworkable solutions.
While that wraps it up for video game anniversaries, this month marks the anniversary of the eminent Victorian bird fancier Nemesis Fothergill, who is perhaps better known to ornithologists and the police as the Birdman of Potter's Bar. He first achieved prominence when he discovered Trusspot's yellowed back corn paw, for which Trusspot had been looking for weeks. Shortly after this, he was the first man to record the cry of the lesser spotted willow warbler, so called because it has less spots than other willow warblers. The bird's song usually resembles chukka chukka chukka, dooby doo, but during the mating season it changes to chukka chukka chukka, ho ho ho. Well, I guess during the mating season he would have more to be happy about, wouldn't he? Perhaps Nemesis was best known for his crossbreeding efforts though, but being short-sighted, this led to some surprising results, as the experiments witnessed Fothergill's lesser spotted flying fox terrier, a species that is almost extinct, fortunately.
I mean, it is a bit unnerving to find a bird scratching at your door and barking to go walkies, but certainly his most successful venture in this field was when he produced a turkey with 6 legs for large families that each wanted a drumstick. The experiment was a great success, but unfortunately he could never catch the blighters. Well, there you are. Don't say that I never tell you anything interesting outside of the world of video games. But I'm sure that video games are the main reason that you've clicked on this video. And if you enjoyed this video, then please do click the like button and leave me a comment down below. Whilst you're there, if you're not already subscribed, then please do so and click the bell icon so that you're always notified and up to date whenever a new video is uploaded. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave you with this. Why are wrong numbers never busy? Cheerio, see you next week.